Hey, that's my name. I'm here to talk to you guys about storytelling. You remember that night sitting around a campfire telling ghost stories, and as it got darker and darker, the stories got scarier and scarier, and that chill ran up your spine? Or maybe it happened at a slumber party. And there was always one kid who was a little scarier than the rest who'd tell the stories, and you found out that the schoolyard was really a graveyard, only the bodies had never been moved. Well, you remember that because you saw it in a movie. See, we don't really tell ghost stories anymore, or campfire stories, or bedtime stories, or really any stories at all. Storytelling isn't a dead art, but it's a seriously neglected art. And it didn't always used to be like that. I mean, before we had cable, before we had TV, before we had the internet, we had storytelling. And were telling stories around the campfire as soon as we had a fire to put in it. But we gave it away. At some point, we consigned storytelling to the professionals. We decided we'd let somebody else make up all the stories. Hollywood, video games. We stopped telling stories ourselves. And we lose something when we do that. And we took everything that they gave us. We decided, we'd just take what they said. With Space Invaders, we never asked why they were invading. They might have had a legitimate grievance. Now, make no mistake, reading is vital, and I read to my kids every night. But if we're consistently writing on the coattails of somebody else's creativity, we're losing this very important connection, a very human connection. And somehow, once there was, became the scariest words in a parent's vocabulary. We've lost this ability to make up stories on our own. And so our kids are missing this connection that you can't find anywhere else. Now, I know it's not easy to make up stories at the end of the night. I'm a writer. I have not one, but 2 unsold novels on my hard drive. And I still hit brain lock when my son asks for a story that's not a storybook. But see, most of the stories in this country consist of once there was a little girl who went to sleep. And that's my little girl. And she deserves her own princess stories. I don't think that princess stories are a one-crown-fits-all proposition. I think that little girls deserve the princess stories that they need. And they need to hear your values, not Disney's values. We need to follow our own imagination. See, your daughter's little princess might be a badass. She may have met Prince Charming and decided he couldn't keep up. She may have thought he may have spent too much time on his hair. Now, this is my son, and he loves a good ghost story. But the best ghost stories touch on the things that the kids are really afraid of, that we're really afraid of. Best ghost stories wander a little bit into our dark side. Now, if you're a parent, you know where that dark side is for your kid. You see, storytelling isn't just how we pass on culture and belief. We use our own imagination and storytelling to explore our own lives. And it's important that we hang on to that. You see, there are professional storytellers and storytelling guilds, and something really annoying, a word that they use called a telebration. But we can't let other people become the storytellers. We can't let it be just something that somebody else does. You see, I tell stories to my kids, and I don't even own a tunic. My kids have never seen me say, huzzah! And yet I tell stories every night. And so I know it's not easy, so I invented a storytelling app called Shake and Tell. And it gives you the bones of a story, and you flesh it out with your own details and your own imagination and your own elaboration, and you tell the story together with your kids. You see, people have called it a storytelling tool. I call it a storytelling crutch. It gets you up, it gets you moving. That's not a storytelling tool. That's the mallet that you use to pound your own imagination into mush. You see, this next thing, it's coming. That's a storytelling tool. The hardest part about telling a story is just getting started. From there, you can follow your own imagination. And see that right there, that storytelling tool, that's the on button. So the next time you're sitting around a campfire, and I want you to tell a story. Take some of that mush that you pounded out of that mallet and shape it into a little shape and tell a story that came not from a book, not from a movie, but from your imagination. Tell a story that came from you. Thank you very much.